It was a stunning moment that capped John McCain's surprising return to the Senate last week. The 80-year-old senator showed few signs of the brain cancer diagnosis during a tense week in Washington. Watch the show, he told reporters, as he entered the Senate before Thursday night's vote. And with a dramatic thumbs down, McCain delivered the death blow to Republicans' efforts to repeal and replace Obamacare. Here's the moment about 1:30 in the morning Friday, Washington time, when McCain cast that vote. Listen for the gasps in the Senate.
Mr. Peters.
No. As McCain in the well of the Senate casting the thumbs down, he explained his vote by repeating what he told the Senate Tuesday night. We should not make the mistakes of the past that have led to Obamacare's collapse. We must do the hard work our citizens expect of us and deserve. Joining us this morning to talk about that stunning night, Barrett Marson, political consultant at Marson Media, Lori Roberts, columnist for the Arizona Republic, and Chad Haywood, former Arizona Republican Party executive director, now a consultant at Criterion Public Affairs. I've never been so shocked. I know, Lori, you weren't, because you wrote about this or maybe predicted this earlier in the week. What was McCain saying? I'll start with you, Barrett. What was McCain saying with that thumbs down?
Well, he was saying that essentially after 7 years of all the Republican promises to repeal this law that a lot of Republicans say is disastrous, that this wasn't the way to do it. And I may not have a lot of time in the Senate, but I'm going to make my mark.
Lori?
He was saying it's time for the Senate to get back to work and doing the work of the American people, not of the Democratic Party, not of the Republican Party. He was saying that we deserve better. So let's take it back to committee, let's get bipartisan input, and let's fix this mess.
Chad?
I don't think anyone was surprised after his return speech where he said he wanted a bipartisan bill, amendments offered from both sides, ideas offered from both sides. So, you know, a vote late in the night, early in the morning. Who knew C-SPAN would have this greater rating?
Yeah, I was all over it. But it's also a vote McCain had the luxury of taking because he's run his last election.
Sure.
He absolutely does not have to worry about the base. He doesn't have to worry about editorials. He doesn't have to worry about anything anymore.
And now, we should also mention, and this is kind of getting lost in the coverage, it was Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. They cast every vote against this, so they were there already when McCain joined them. It really took three to make this happen. Now, McCain said earlier that day, and he'd been saying it all week, that he was taking his orders from Doug Ducey. So, Chad, how does Doug Ducey feel about John McCain voting no on this?
Well, I don't know that the governor's going to weigh in on all these specific bills and, you know, the differences in the bills day to day, hour to hour. But I think if you're a governor and you need to balance a budget, and that's your primary responsibility, changes to Medicaid reimbursements are a very big deal. And it's clear from the senator that the governor and his team have talked to the senator about the impact that would have on Arizona's hospital industry, on citizens, and on the state budget, frankly.
Does Ducey get tied to this now? Because this is not going to be popular with a lot of Republicans, Lori.
I don't think that he'll be tied to it. I agree with you that it's not going to be popular with a lot of Republicans, but I don't believe that this is the last word. Republicans simply cannot spend 7 years talking about repeal and replace, not have a plan, come up with some goofy thing 45 minutes or so before they vote, and leave it at that. They have got to make another shot at it. And if they are smart and if they are wise, they will listen to Senator McCain and get back to basics. Let's sit down and find some common ground.
And remember, there hasn't been a poll that shows some iteration of the GOP healthcare plan that is above 20%. And in Arizona, it was in the single digits.
Yeah, poll last week showing it was at 6%, any one of these plans.
Right, and so I don't know that people will take that out on, Republicans even will take it out on the governor, because the plan wasn't good enough.
And yet Republicans do want to see this repeal and replaced.
Absolutely.
So that's still there. And many Republicans, John McCain's had a rough relationship with a lot of Republicans here. They see this as an act of betrayal, don't they?
Sure. Some of these no votes are coming from both sides of the caucus, right? You've got no votes in the House from Andy Biggs on the right and Rand Paul and Ted Cruz on some iterations of this. And then you have no votes from senators that represent full states that have to deal with the consequences and realities of people being off of health care. So it's a big, complicated mess that we've gotten ourselves into that we've allowed to go on for too long. But I can't imagine voters being excited to turn out for Republicans when they're governing if they can't get anything done.
Well, the question for Republican voters to their leaders is, how is it that you could talk about repeal and replace for 7 years and not on January 1 have a plan ready to go? How is this possible?
Well, because for most of that 7 years, it was only repeal. If it was just about repeal, I think they could do that. It's about the replace, and Republicans cannot agree on the best way to replace, because some don't want any government interaction at all, whereas others want there to be some safety net.
But you had to have a plan. I mean, you're always going to have divergent opinions within. The challenge to leadership is to find the common threads, the common goals, and sit it down. Just last night, or not last night, but last week, right after the vote, a very upset Donald Trump comes out and says, well, we'll just let it implode, sounding like a 2-year-old. A leader would come out and say, tomorrow morning, first thing, I'm calling everybody to my office, Republican leaders, Democrat leaders, we're going to sit down, we're going to hash this out, we're going to figure it out. That's leadership. We're not seeing it.
Chad, last word, 15 seconds.
Sure, you have a competing mandate, people losing insurance and people whose premiums have doubled. And the forgotten man and woman that voted for these people and their premiums have doubled, there's not a simple policy way to fix those two competing mandates.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there for just a moment.